Peace. Peace. Good family. Salute. Salute to everybody. Hope you guys could hear me all right. Just straightening up, checking out my little stuff. But I think I'm good to go. Peace and love to everybody. Salute. Hopefully everybody is well. Let me check in to see what's going on here. Peace to everyone. Yes, we got some good family in the building, which is always wonderful to see. Put some nines in the chat if you guys could hear me all right. Let me know that we are audible and intelligible so that we may proceed to give you what you need. You know what I mean? Let me see if the nines come in. Let me know I'm all good, y'all. As I sip my water and straighten up my little setup here. Yeah? Okay, I see some nines. All right. Let me go on and start to salute the people, the good family, as we get some people coming in. Salute to all of you. I hope you guys have been good over the past week. Yeah? Let's see who we got in the building. Oh my goodness, the king, the intelligent one, is in the building. Salute to the intelligent savage. He says, let's go, let's get it, Queen Mars. Everyone, smash that like button on your way in and share the content, please. You already know what time it is, okay? Intelligent savage, yes. Smash that like button, good people, on your way in. Thank you for reminding the good family as they make their way in. Happy to see you, King. Always wonderful to have you. 10 toes on deck in the building. Big salute to the king, intelligent savage. Oh my goodness, my beautiful sis with her nods and her hearts in the building. Salute to my beautiful sis, Cameron Fields, the lovely and beautiful queen, Cameron Fields. What's up to my beautiful sis? Lovely to see you. Always happy to see you on deck for the lives. Makes me happy to see my girl. What's up? Peace to my twin, Daryl Anderson, always 10 toes, as usual, okay? Salute to the beautiful queen, aka my twin Sugar Free, is what Daryl says. He says, also salute to the rest of the kings and the queens in the chat. Thank you so much, twin. Lovely to see you. Facts. Throw them nods up. You already know what time it is, okay? I ain't got to say much. I ain't got to say much at all. Y'all know what time it is up in here. Salute. Oh my goodness, to my number one comrade, the king and the coach, Hudson, in the building. Salute to you, King. He says, salute to the queen of boxing media, SugarFreeMars, my number one comrade, and peace to my comrades in the chat. Salute to the coach, Hudson, in the building. Wonderful to have you, King. Always a joy to see you in the building. Big salute to you. And thank you for joining this Sunday. Peace to the G in the building, G. McCall. He says, salute, queen. Big salute to you. Always wonderful to see you. Oh, my goodness. My mama loved the queen. Tequila Fields with her nines on deck. As per usual, salute to the queen, the beautiful queen mother, Tequila Fields. Wonderful to see you. Always happy to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a wonderful week. Oh, my goodness. The great Mike himself in the building. Yes, great Mike. Always happy to see you as well. I get very excited when my family come through with that love and that energy and that support. Salute to the great Mike, as always. You know what time it is. Oh my goodness, the King Stephen X in the building. He says, queen, salute, and always peace be upon you. Love and blessings. Big salute to the King Stephen. Wonderful to see you, King. Thank you so much for joining and popping in, stopping by. Very happy to see you as always. The richest one is also in the building. He says, sugar, and he gave me a hug emoji. Oh my goodness. Salute to the richest one in the building, always with the love, always with the fantastic, phenomenal energy. Wonderful to see you, King, and wonderful to see, the good brothers and sisters. Now, let's see how I want to get into this as the good people make their way in. First of all, I like to start off. I hope you guys had a good week. Very interesting week, that we've had in the boxing world, even though not necessarily a fight week that we had over the weekend, right? As far as fights, but we definitely got some very, titillating news and rumblings that have been going on in the boxing world. For any of you that have been, peeping game, certainly across social media, you, just like myself, have seen some very interesting things, that have unfolded, some of which I wanted to divulge with you today. Um, there was much more I guess I could have tapped into, but I really wanted to speak on the more poignant, um, most notable aspects that I found to be, um, interesting enough to divulge with you, and I guess just kind of bring some perspective to some matters that I found to be worthy of us discussing openly and unabashedly, right? Because that's what I like to do in this space with the good family. I like to bring these issues front and center so that we can kind of tackle them together, open them up, dissect them, and do a level of reconnaissance that I don't think we can find, too broadly across the general boxing landscape. Right? There are a few places where we can go and get that kind of analysis going, and I like to think that here is among those places. Um, so definitely wanted to bring some interesting points of conversation for you guys today, and discuss with the good family and get your thoughts and your takes on it as well, right? So you know me, y'all, right? I've been doing my usual scoping of the boxing scene over the past week, as I tend to do, and just scoping out the scene, the landscape. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm finding that there has been um, kind of a streamlining and a normalizing of particular signs um, and symptoms that to me denote and confirm what we all have been feeling and what we all know to be, which is the fact that there are really but a few in this sport, really but a few real ones within this sport here that actually look to claim and hold a level of prominence and stature in the sport, a level of credence and relevance, not by way of headlines that you can make, but by way of actual virtue and valor that is displayed. I've really begun sitting and dealing with the fact that there are really a few, you know what I mean, who are really about that, in other words, in this current era of boxing. And very interesting, gaze when you sit back and you take that in and you process and you kind of go through the names in your mind, you know, of the people who actually stand for that level of valor and warriorship in boxing, right? You think about boxing, we think it's a sport replete with, men and women of warrior mentality. But for some reason, that's just not the case in this particular era. I find that warrior spirit and mentality to be dwindling steadily and more readily in this particular era than I have ever seen it among or amid previous eras. That's for sure. And I know I'm not the only one that holds those types of sentiments and views, right? It seems to me that aside from those very few who are really about that life, the rest are really just out here, thugging it out for, I don't know, attention or, paydays, 15 minutes of attention within the headline. You understand what I'm saying? It's almost impossible as a conscious observer, in other words, right? To not catch some particular type of sighting of, some sort of prevailing distortions within and across social media in the boxing world. It's almost impossible to not come across these types of things. And the fact that it's now becoming ever more common to find things like fighters settling for becoming absolute clown shows and media outlets motioning to take on tabloid circus act charades is baffling and befuddling to me. It really is, right? And this is something that we speak about, and this is something that many of us share, in Um, and across the platforms that we go and we have these types of conversations about, right? I think that's something that really befuddles many of us, as we sit back and we take this in. The absolute clown show that these fighters are slowly seeming to lean towards, um, and how media is relegating, um, this type of display and behavior absolutely to the forefront. And we get the display and the heart and warriorship being chastised publicly, right? Meanwhile, the clown show is promoted and prompted and celebrated and, given visibility. Very peculiar times, you guys, right? So, I couldn't help but sit back and ask, as I have been repeatedly asking, what are these signs and symptoms signifying? What are these signs and symptoms signifying? These types of displays of buffoonery and cowardice and all these types of myriad displays. What are these types of things signifying for this era of boxing, particularly? Not that it never existed previously, right? Because, like people say, this is entertainment, sports and entertainment, stuff like that. And so I'm sure that throughout the history of boxing, there have been all types of displays of this. But it's very interesting to me, this particular era, and how it is choosing to go about it. At least back in the day, it seemed like we had maybe a bit more of a buffer because we had so many ironclad warriors who were not about the charade, or so strong, personalities enough that could, provide a wall against, a shield against the level of buffoonery that may have been displayed at that time. We had strong personalities to counteract that behavior, I want to say. It doesn't seem like we have too many strong personalities that exist now. I'm not saying that they don't exist because we got the real ones on deck, but that, in the way that, this age is able to consume more readily at the drop of a dime, it seems that the buffoonery is so much more accessible, and because of that, people are much more interested in things like being clickbaited, in things like the drama, the chatty patty, the sassy catty. People are interested in that, and so the warriorship is slowly taking a back seat. It's slowly taking second place, and I worry about that in boxing, you guys. I really do. And I'm wondering how and why that is allowed entrance into what is, in my opinion, the most manliest masculine sport on the face of the earth. This is the sport where we get to see valor and heart, where we get to see absolute warriorship, absolute unapologetic power and dominance over an opponent via combat. That is boxing. Yet the manliest sport on the face of the goddamn earth is becoming the most sassiest escapade and charade that you could ever fucking find. How the hell did this happen overnight? What are these symptoms? What the fuck type of germ and infection has the sport of boxing caught? We need to find a cure for this shit, y'all. I don't like the sassy disease. The sassy disease is taking over, y'all. That's what I'm seeing. It's a sassy, nasty cold that's going on. You know what I mean? I don't like it not one bit as I sit down and I gauge with this, engage, upon what is going on and what is latching on to the sport as a whole, from the fighters' personalities and perspectives to how things are promoted and held up by media, all the way down to how fans are choosing to now participate in the sport. Very interesting stuff, you guys. Okay. And, it has me wondering why we are seeing aspects of media ever more available to and eager to push, uphold, and support the very things that mock the sport that we say that we value. How is this being allowed on our time? How is the sport being made a mockery of like this, you guys? What about this is attractive to the wider boxing community, or what is it that is being accepted? What is it with people that have the acceptance level to tolerate the BS that we see across all manners of the boxing world, from media and otherwise, right? So I peer into and I see signs and symptoms of all types of things. I see signs and symptoms of, confusion, disorder, being sprinkled in more often than I find to be appetizing, right? I see all types of symptoms of disorganization among Black fans, which is a constant. Okay. What the fuck is the remedy? I am seeing symptoms of hesitance more and more to stand 10 toes. People are cowering left and right. Bunch of cowards lining up by the droves. Where the fuck is the heart going? How the fuck is this sickness in boxing with these symptoms, retracting the heart? That's what it seems to be to me. That's a symptom that we find now. There is a rescinding of heart. There is a lessening of heart in this sport. People less ready and willing to speak up and stand up among Black boxing fans. Okay? It's a weird time going on right now. We have constant fickleness of mentality going around. Okay? We have a tepid mentality being incited and prompted within boxing audiences, right? What is this tepidness? What the fuck is this germ going around, you guys? I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it at all. Okay? And, there are people that are gladly catching this germ, gladly in support of this germ of trending fallacies, all types of aberrations, and absolute blunders. It's becoming the norm. It is cute now to some people, apparently. This is the cute thing to do, to sign up for this, to promote this, right? We got people out here choosing, choosing spots where they want to, appear that they are about it, but where it counts, they ain't nowhere to be goddamn found. How many times have we seen this exemplified, beautiful people? Just over the past year and a half, right? People want to look like they about it, look like they stepping for something. No heart is in sight with these cowards. They just want to appear as if they have a consciousness that leans towards particularly Black culture. We're going to get into that today, right? But what an interesting era we seem to find ourselves within, you guys. Very interesting stuff indeed. This is why I am quite adamant and ardent about the very few in boxing who actually do uphold a level of clarity and valor and sportsmanship, that serves the boxing that I know and that serves the boxing that I respect. This is why I go so hard for those particular few. People like Clarissa Shields, people like Devin Haney. That's why I support so vehemently David Benavidez, right? We can run the gamut on the names that we can think up of people standing 10 toes out here. This is why I go to bat the way that I do for these particular fighters. People want to come up like your young king, Abdullah Mason, right? Because it is to these people of the present and of the future that stand to uphold the very level of valor that we respect and that we have always respected and loved and admired about this beautiful sport, right? It is why I go so hard. And it is these men and women who also provide, and substantiate the fact that there, is still signs of promising life, ample life, and a potential, for that life to come into further fruition within this sport. It's these people that keep me invested, despite all of the debris, despite all of the nonsensical chaos and everything else, right? Otherwise, if it were not for these people, brothers and sisters, I'd be good in the fuck out of here by now. Because really, the charade of boxing, or that the charade that boxing is steadily becoming, it's just disgusting to me on so many levels. That if it were not for these few, who give and hold such promise, I would have been long gone by now. You know what I mean? Interesting time. So, I have hope for things like the fact that, for example, um, I'm going to check with the chat in just a second. I just want to quickly get this out. Um, I'm hopeful of things, for example, like the fact that we are, let's say, leaning closer and closer into, let's say, of course, the legendary feat that's being attempted right now by Bud Crawford in his fight against Canelo in 2 weeks. That's the type of thing, even though I wasn't necessarily very much interested in the making of this fight, as many of you may know, I have disclosed my feelings upon this fight for several months in hearing the news, of course, that it was going to be materialized. I was not necessarily a fan of this fight, but I can understand and stand beside the fact that Terrence Crawford is out here attempting to make history, to do something that a lot of people would say is unattainable. You know what I mean? And because of the fact that he is taking the chance and taking the risk to step up, basically 3 weight classes and attack the most celebrated fighter, of this current era, let's say of the past several years, which is Canelo, right? His quote unquote star power and all of that, and how people have toted this man up, and of course his resume, has stood the test of time for a good portion. I can't say the back end of his career, but certainly the front half of his career, he got some heavy hitters on that resume. So that this is the man who Terrence Crawford is going after to behead and dethrone. You got to give Bud the props. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always stepping where my people stepping. So he has my 1000% support. It is things like that. No, I was not a fan of this fight, but I'm going to support this brother in his attempt to reach the unattainable, the supposed and alleged unattainable. I'm trying to see him attain that. Oh, yes, I am. I'm standing 10 toes with the King Bud for sure. You know what I mean? No questions, no doubts whatsoever. I'm stepping with that man. You know what I mean? And I would like to see him achieve that victory. So it's things like that, that give credence and a level of, uprightness to Black elite warriorship that I sign up for. Right? So things like that show levels of promise. Of course, we are also anticipating and inching closer to the fight that I consider to be the biggest fight of the year. Hello, which is that of, the young king. You know what I mean? The young king Devin Haney and Brian Norman that is going to be coming up in November. I am absolutely on my toes for that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know what time it is. Dream team all day. But I also salute the young lion, Brian Norman, for looking to make his mark in his official entrance as far as his prominence in the sport of boxing. The fact that he signed up to fight the likes of Devin Haney is wonderful to me. And like I always say, I salute both of these brothers in their attempt, to claim their space as young warriors. So that is something that I am definitely revved up for and excited about, right? I guess things as of late that got me excited have also been, hearing some news and some rumblings about possible returns to the ring. Okay. I'm sure many of you have gotten the wind of that, quote, wind of that. Some returns that are expected to happen at some particular point, hopefully sooner rather than later, right? And then we also had some call outs that have been made. Okay. Very interesting stuff that has been happening that has been kind of feeding a level of anticipation. We got some call outs. And I think those particular call outs are going to give, boxing the fire and the grit, to keep that spirit of warriorship fed, which I love. You know what I mean? So those are the types of things that I look forward to, right? But in the interim, you guys, I have been sitting back and I do think about the fact that, actually, when I was looking at it, y'all, I was like, this is really the only sport that I have watched. The only sport that I have watched where supporters of the sport have to do so much weeding out of the farcical, of the nonsensical, just to show up for the sport that we love. Why the fuck do boxing fans have to go through this? Why the fuck do we have to climb mountains just to get some integrity from the sportsmen? What the fuck is up with that in boxing, y'all? We don't gotta struggle and fight for integrity and sportsmanship and valor when we watch football. None of us have to, go to goddamn Jupiter and Mars and back just to get a good basketball game and a level of competitive, sportsmanship when we watch basketball? Why the fuck do we have to go through this whole rigmarole just to be boxing supporters? What the fuck is going on, y'all? Am I crazy? Or have you guys been noticing this? Like, just being able to sit, watch, and support, some upright effort, some wonderful ability and competitiveness, some courage, and the display of heart. That is a feat. And why? Why is that a feat for boxing fans? Just to be able to do that is a feat, y'all, because so much bullshit is in the way of us enjoying the sport we love. The fuck? That's absolutely preposterous on every level to me when I sit down and break that down in my mind. And that's something that I have been doing, as of late. Like, why the fuck why am I exhausted as a boxing fan? Like, why do I find myself so exhausted sometimes just tapping in to the news of the day or of the week as it pertains to boxing? Because there's so much folly and debris within this sport that it's like, yo, you know what I mean? It's more drama and charades and more of a circus than there is action. Then there is tangible, aspects to actually enjoy. That shit is crazy to me. It's wild work to me. You've got to go through the soap opera drama. You've got to get past all types of corrupting influences, coercive agendas, all just to get to the point where we could see the best fight and the best? What the hell? All of this just so that we can get, 2 fights a year from some fighters, 1 fight a year from some of the elite. What is going on? What is going on? This is also a part of the symptoms of a much larger sickness going on in boxing. What is this? And of course, these symptoms lead to and consist of tabloid sensationalism, like I said. Other symptoms, we see are, this fascination with the meaningless running rampant in boxing, and now, among those symptoms, is the ever pervasive berating, right, of the very thing that we are supposed to be upholding, which is integrity. That is now being pushed to the background. That is not now being sidelined, if you will, right? We see the berating and castigating of actual warriorship and people who uphold that warriorship. It's really crazy when you think about it, you guys. We seem to be amid an era that ridiculously, seeks to wave a banner for the meaningless, wave a banner for the senseless. And meanwhile, the heart, is being absolutely lambasted whenever and wherever it's displayed. We are hearing more and more of things like, oh, belts don't matter, right? We are seeing fighters opting, for example, to make exhibition fights instead of fighting the elite competitors of their day. We are seeing that being brought to a light of normalization, which is absolute folly to me. What is this? We are seeing obsession set around what this or that fighter is making. I don't give a damn so long as his ass is getting in there to fight the best. As we spoke about last week and in previous weeks, I don't give a damn what these fighters are making. Are you going to get in there and fight or nah? If you ain't talking that, we ain't talking shit. Period. There's nothing else to discuss here. What purse you bought, what move, what how you fucking straighten your hair today, what shoes you bought has nothing to do with me. Are you going to get in there and compete or no? I'm not supporting nothing else. You know what I mean? So that we are seeing these things becoming more and more and more rampant, and it's crazy work, And these are the signs and symptoms of a sport that, due to this newfound reluctance, in and among various fighters to compete fiercely on that level, we are now seeing the sport suffer. And the sport is increasingly, as a result, becoming depleted of the warriorship. That was once honorable to us as boxing fans. And that was once honorable to fighters themselves. Once heralded by the beautiful great brothers who paved the way. Right? So that, we can almost count on one hand at this particular point, unfortunately, beautiful people, the elite warriors who are actually on demon time and stepping within that type of spirit. We could almost count them on one hand. Very interesting times indeed, beautiful people. Let me check in with you guys before I continue further. Salute to everyone in the building who may have just joined. Let me scroll up a little bit to see what we got here. Oh my goodness, hold up. Let me show some love to the people who show love to the channel. Salute to Ra Holman in the building with a heart. Thank you very much, King, and thank you for joining. Salute to Glenn Mickens, heavy in the super chat. Very appreciative of that, King. Thank you so much for stopping by. Peace to the King, my brother here for boxing. He says, smash that like button for the First Lady. Peace and infinite blessings to the King here for boxing. Thank you so much for joining. Let me see who we got in the building before we continue. Salute to the King Jit in the building. I see you. Oh my goodness, the King Freedoms March. What's up to my counterpart? The counterpart, King Freedom. Nice to see you. Always lovely to see you, King. Thank you so much for stopping by. Okay. King here for boxing says he ain't pressed Ryan like he pressed Tio because there was no one there to break it up. Child, here for boxing. We're going to get into all of that. You hear me? We definitely going to get into it. Salute to the King Demo in the building. I see you. The King Steven says Shakur is Naji's favorite fighter. So he's biased in that regard. Plus, he works for Sony. He's corporate. He's playing that corporate shill game. Oh, trust me. Trust me. And those were the very words that I used to describe this clown and this coward as well. Okay. My twin says, I hope Bud is going in there to beat Canelo. If he pulls a Jermell Charlo stunt, I'm going to cook him. You and me both, twin. Okay. Trust me. I got that fire hot and ready for that ass. He better not get in there and play. Angel Diaz, salute to you. He says, I got Crawford 100. Yes, indeed. So do I. So do I. I'm hoping he pulls off the victory. My number one comrade says, yeah, those white teens calling in didn't feel right at all. That's why I said those of you who aren't from our community are completely out of pocket. 1,000%, comrade. 1,000%. And salute to everybody in the building that joined. I appreciate you. Now, let's get to this cooking. You know what I mean? I had to set the table a little bit, just divulge some of the thoughts that I have been carrying, which led to what I wanted to discuss with the good family today. Now, let's get into this Charlo talk, right? I figured that we kind of sage the room a little bit and actually speak about some demon time and some calls to actually fight among your contemporaries, right? And actually continue to make a mark upon this sport. I figured I'd open with this just to kind of, set the record straight about what we should be doing within this era of boxing and how standing 10 toes should look, when you are interested in that smoke and in that work. So, seeing over the past week, as we know, the fact that Jermell Charlo made a splash across social media, beautiful people, with his calls for all the smoke that he can get. All right. That put quite a spark back towards the reality that this game is about going to get it. That's what this is here. That's what all of this is about. That's what the fuck we are here for. We are not here to have tea with our pinkies up. We are here to go get it. Okay? We are here to support the men and women who are going to hunt for that legacy and that greatness for themselves while they are here, while they are active fighters. You understand me? So, in seeing Mel get out there and say, yo, I'm back. What's up? What's popping? Had me all the way with it. You feel me? I think that we enthusiasts were, to some degree or measure, after seeing that post that he made on his Instagram, we were anxious to see what's popping when we saw him post those pictures up and calling out unabashedly the names of everybody, every top hitter in the 154-pound division. What? This is what the hell I'm talking about. All right? The subliminals were not at all motherfucking subliminal. Okay? The lion is hunting. And I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I said, yes, King, you go on and you hunt. You go on and you hunt like you should be. Now, I think it's prime time for Charlo to come back and show 154 how it ought to be done. It's prime time for that. The damn man has never been dethroned in his division. He decidingly left his 154-pound division to go up and venture into new territory against Canelo Alvarez about 2 years ago now, when he went to 168. Was that fight, something that I wanted? No. You know what I'm saying? Was it something that he wanted to, dare to attempt? Yes. And so he went up there and did it. And for that reason, I think, like myself, many of us here was looking to see him go and conquer, right? Or that we at least supported his venture in the idea that he could, right? But when he went up there and we saw the performance that we saw, it left many of us with a sour taste in our mouths that he did not go up there and display the warriorship that we know that he is capable of, right? But that does not mean that he is not the undisputed king of the 154-pound division. He is pound for pound the king of 154. That's how he left that division. Okay? Let's not forget who Jermell Charlo is. Let's not forget. Yes, it was a blunder, that attempt that he made in that ring against Canelo. For whatever reason, I have no idea. But I do know that he was absolutely the chief of 154. That I did not forget. Okay? So that the fact that he is looking to make his return to the 154-pound division is very, very interesting indeed to me, for sure, right? So, I couldn't help but have the feeling that this division, in the interim of, his departure, right? While we kind of have been waiting to see if he would come back, how he would come back, right? Before, of course, him dropping the news that he intended to, come back and take over. A lot of us have been wondering, well, really, I'll speak for myself. I couldn't help but feel that the 154-pound division had been left quite disorganized since he left. Okay, I have been sitting with that feeling. Oh my goodness, hold up, I gotta stop. I have to stop because I just peeped and saw my beautiful king, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful king. The FTB is in the building. Salute, beautiful king. Thank you so much for joining. I definitely appreciate you. All right, I gotta salute the king when he's in the building. Now, I could not help but feel that he left things quite disorganized when he left, Mel, right? And so, with the exception, I guess, of Fundora, because of course we have good fighters and that we had good fights at 154, like Fundora and the Tim Zoo, right? And then, they wind up rematching not too long ago, and then we had people like Ortiz. Ortiz had a really good performance in his last fight. We've also got, Bakaram, who has a strap now in the division. So we had some good, fights made and materialized at 54. And we have some really good competitors, as we know, that are replete in the 154-pound division. And of course, prior to Bud Crawford's exit to go ahead and go venture into Canelo territory, we had his entrance officially against Madrimov at 154. So that it seemed like things were starting to rev up, even despite the fact that Mel had no longer been there, right? That he was, kind of gone from view after that Canelo fight. But something, even with the entrance of Bud Crawford, I was still left waiting for some type of presence to be felt and to be had and to be claimed. Was it just me? Or did 154, not that it was barren, but something about it was unclaimed to me, right? I just felt like something was unclaimed at 154, despite the fact that Bud had gone in there, right? So that his first fight at 54 was kind of lackluster. It was a good performance. I do feel like he won that fight, but that it was way more competitive, than anybody could have anticipated. So much so that there are a lot of people who feel like Madrimov edged that fight, right? Because it was an interesting performance. It was an interesting performance, right? It was a style that Bud had to adapt to. All types of things that we could go ahead and dissect about that particular fight, right? And after that performance, I guess I was in anticipation to see what Bud would do next, to see if he would claim and take that heavy presence that I was waiting to be claimed. I was wondering if he would be the one to claim it, but he did not. He got the strap from Madrimov and he hauled his ass the fuck out of the division, which is the real reason why I was not gung-ho about him going to fight Canelo, because there is work to be done at 54. He got one fight, one strap, and he fucking left the division. I was not about that. I'm like, what the hell? All the smoke is at 54. You know what I mean? I get the money grab and I get the larger attempt at what he was trying to do as far as legacy. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that it's likely that he will not come back down to 54 after fighting Canelo, and that's something that's very, very disheartening to me, considering all the smoke that's there for him, including Jermell Charlo, and including, of course, maybe it's far-fetched, but I still want to see that rematch with him and EJ. Period. I've been wanting to see it, and I have not let that down. I still want to see that rematch, if it were possible to be had. So that 154 hadn't had the claim to it after Jermell Charlo left, like I said, despite Bud's entrance in there. He came and he left so quick, everything was just, unclaimed, right? So that heavy dominance had not been assumed there for me, particularly and personally. Now, and it still hasn't been established yet. So this is another reason why I'm excited to hear the news of Mel, veering back into the division, because we need a king. You understand what I'm saying? A king is needed at 54. Now, I initially surmised that upon the entrance of Bud, like I said, into the 154-pound division, that we'd see that type of demon time. I anticipated, a staunch stand to be taken by Bud. But, he's on a run for something, completely different. And so he is going his way. I was definitely hoping that he would call Jermell Charlo out from out the shadows when he got there. I was like, all right, so he's at 154. Bud is gonna call, Mel out. He's gonna call his ass to the fire. But he didn't do that. I figured that he was gonna step to Fundora. He didn't fucking do that. I'm like, okay, Erickson Lubin. Bud is gonna actually call Erickson Lubin, right? He didn't do shit. He ain't called nobody's goddamn name. He grabbed the strap from Madrimov and hauled the fuck out of 154, like I said. You know what I mean? Crazy work to me. That none of that managed to happen. So I'm still kind of deal with that. You know what I mean? So I was left, what's going to happen to the 154-pound division? Now that Bud Crawford, once he enters the ring, he will be stripped of that title that he holds, right? At 54. And many people like myself have been wondering if Bud, even though it seems far-fetched, like I said, a lot of us are wondering if he'll go back down to 54 for that smoke. There are other people, like I said, who are dead set on the fact that this may be his last fight and that he may actually be retiring in the ring on the night of the fight, right? Either way, 154 is a division with a lot of potential for smoke. And I'm interested in seeing what is going to take place there, right? Because it's a division, like I said, that is full to the brim with competitive warriors. And I'd like to see the clashing of these particular titans at that division. Now that Mel is posturing for his return, beautiful people, and letting the world know that, quote unquote, ain't no friends in this industry, as he wrote on his social media, I am ready to see what will be done. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of comebacks, You already know us real ones have been wondering about the return of EJ to the ring, Mr. Man Down himself. Okay, because in addition to the news that came out of Mel Charlo, calling for smoke, we have also in the recent weeks seen some footage that has been released recently of EJ getting some sparring in. Okay, we have seen some low footage here and there about EJ getting some sparring in. Very interesting stuff. Very short clip, right? We didn't get to see any type of work as far as how he's looking or maybe who he's training with. We saw no such aspects within that little short clip. But the fact that he is in the ring is very interesting indeed, and of course it brings up the question if he's in preparation or has long been in preparation for a comeback. I know that over the past few months, good family, he has been posting on his social media mostly things about his family and his pastimes and his side activities and stuff like that. Not really giving much light as far as any specifics as to if he'll return to the ring. But I couldn't help but notice in seeing his posts over the past several months, y'all. EJ is looking trim and in shape. If you've seen like his little videos and his little, I'm saying, yeah, he be posting on his stories on Instagram, he's looking trim and thin out here. He's looking like he's in shape. Okay, like he's staying on weight. He does not look like somebody that has been out on vacation and enjoying his life and his wife cooking him meals and his kids sitting on his lap in the rocking chair. He looked like somebody that is active and fit. That's what EJ looks like to me. So it's very interesting now to have seen that little footage of him getting some sparring in. It makes sense as far as the shape that he is in, or at least that I've noticed that he is in. Very interesting stuff, y'all. So at that point, I guess I could leave it there because I don't know what that means or what that spells out as far as his return. But I do find it interesting, and I am hopeful that if he does come back to the ring, that EJ is fully refreshed, fully recovered, and even more of a beast, right? Because surely, despite everything that has happened to him, he has a world of experience under his belt coming off of that fight. And he may just be even more of a sharpshooter, more of, a precise killer coming off of, a fight like that with Bud. You never know, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know that may sound like to some, wishful thinking to some haters and shit like that, but real talk, experience is the best teacher. And we don't know what the fuck is going to come out of the fire that he had to pass through. You know what I mean? The weak may be too frail to come out from that. But a real one, having gone through that type of fire, you don't know what type of animal is going to meet you on the other side. You know what I'm saying? So I would not be surprised at all if we see an EJ, that is on another level, taking into account everything that he has been through. That is to say, if he has used those experiences to his benefit and to solidify, more of a sense of purpose about himself and what he wants to accomplish in this sport. That's something that I definitely like to see. And he has all of my support if that is the route that he is looking to take, right? That's something that I love to see in my brothers and my warriors. So salute to the King EJ. I do hope for his return as so long as he is healthy and fit and ready to get back in there and do it big. His biggest one. You know what I mean? So yes, very interesting stuff in seeing that. And the fact that the first picture that Mel released as far as all the smoke that he was calling was directed at EJ was something very interesting to me. Okay? The first picture that he dropped was a direct shot at EJ. No bones being made, nothing. Direct shot at EJ. It was a picture of a lion devouring a shark. I'm like, oh, what? I ain't gonna cap y'all. My heart kind of dropped a little bit. I'm like, what is this? What is this? I was not ready for the visual of that picture, you guys. I'm like, what? The lion devouring the shark? Excuse me? I was not ready for that. I am not gonna cap you guys. I was hella shocked. hella shocked. I had to kind of clasp and grasp my pearls a little bit. I was like, hold the fuck up, Mel. Hold the hell up. What's going on? Very, very shocked to see that. You know what I'm saying? I loved it once I caught my breath a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, the demon time is here. The demon time is here. But you know what was interesting to me is that these two men, of course, have considered themselves, to be brothers for I don't know how long, over a decade, something like a decade or something like that. And over the years, as we know, people in boxing have always, alluded to and poked and prodded at the idea of seeing Mel and EJ fight each other at some particular point. And EJ and Mel those years ago would basically just lightly brush it off, if you guys recall, right? Anytime it would brought up, I can't say it was a constant, but it was brought up. And when it was, they just brush it off and chop it up to, speak about their brotherhood and stuff like that. It wasn't until, recent years where, EJ said, I'm saying, if the money is right, hell yeah, I'd do that. Hell yeah, I'd fight him. You know what I'm saying? I think that it was Mel who was the one who was a little bit more reticent on the subject, right? He never really divulged, a need or a desire to want to fight EJ. But now, shit, the fuck? Mel is aiming at the temple on that ass. You feel me? I absolutely love this fight. I love the idea of this fight. You know what I'm saying? Despite the brotherhood, I love the warriorship and the competitive energy in this fight. If this thing were to materialize, I will be absolutely 10 toes in support of this matchup. What do you understand the level of competitor spirit that this fight has? The level of warriorship that will be on display for these two men. We know they fucking fiery as hell in that ring, both of them. Excuse me? I think it would be a showstopper, an absolute showstopper if they was to get it cracking. What? They would definitely have the boxing world's attention through and through. Another interesting idea that could lead to why this fight could be interesting is that, both men have been out of the ring, for pretty much the same amount of time, y'all, right? Both have had their last fights in 2023, right? EJ was in July, and I believe I forgot when Mel's fight was, but it was like September, one of those months, right? Not too long after EJ had his fight. So they pretty much have been out of the ring for, virtually the same amount of time. And it makes sense when you look at the possibility of them, making their re-entrance into the ring against each other. Okay. So it's definitely an excellent matchup. Either way you cut it. Stylistically, this fight is absolutely enticing to me. The accreditation that these two warriors bring just on their own, right, speaks absolute volumes as to the elite status and stature that they will bring to this fight. I am 1000% with it, y'all. 1000% with the shits. Okay. Now, in addition to calling out the King EJ, Mel has also called out for Boots Ennis, which is probably the fight that I would want to see first. What? Do you know how crazy Jermell Charlo versus Boots? Oh my God. Talk about a fight for the culture. What? This will be another Devin Haney, Brian Norman, type deal where two beautiful brothers getting it in. Oh, hails to the no. Hails no. Ain't no question about it. I'm in support of this fight. This is another fight that's absolutely needed for boxing. Okay? The world has been calling for Boots, you guys, as we know, to step up his level of competition, to step up to new challenges and add the elite names to his resume once and for all. Has the boxing world not been calling up that from Boots, you guys? Everybody has been complaining about Boots Ennis. So much so that I think that there's actually a hit piece put on Boots right now, right? He got a target on his back that I don't necessarily agree with through and through. Okay. And so I think that, to quell a lot of that nonsense, he absolutely needs a name like Jermell Charlo on his resume. 1000% for sure, without a doubt. Okay. A fight with Mel encompasses every last bit of the demands that us fight fans have been having for him. Jermell Charlo covers all of those bases, undoubtedly. Okay? Mel is definitely the whole package. He has got the resume. He is the undisputed king of 54. He has that under his belt. You know what I'm saying? He's an absolute killer and a dog in that ring. Excuse me? If Boots gets Mel Charlo in that ring, brothers and sisters, what? Tell me he won't shut up all, the naysayers and the doubters of his ability. Oh, he don't want to get in there. He don't want to fight. He don't want to test himself and all these other things that we have been hearing about him. He will absolutely close the door on those types of speculations about him. Okay? And he will absolutely cause a ruckus by fighting the likes of the King Mel Charlo. All right? I think that this will be an absolute competitive fight. It goes without saying for both men. Okay? Interesting. Stylistically, no doubt about it. I can see this fight being an instant classic, you guys, should it materialize. There are so many factors at work in considering, these two men, both of their styles and capabilities. This fight would be absolutely fire. Mel also called out Ortiz. Okay, he put a picture of the lion, devouring a bull. Okay. He also got Fundora ass up in there too, call his ass out. Okay. Saw him, choking the life out of a giraffe, which was crazy work. Okay. I was like, yeah, get that damn giraffe. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of his ass any goddamn way. Get his ass the fuck out of here, Mel. Absolutely, I'm with you. So I was with the shits and seeing, this wonderful call out, creative call out, that he was doing on his social media. I'm looking forward to him getting in there with every last one of those motherfuckers. I want to see it. Take them all down. Okay? Take all of them down if you can. Get in there and prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? Get in there and prove yourself. That's what this is about. Make the effort, make the attempt to show who you are. That is what boxing is about. That's that heart and that warriorship that we need to see in boxing. Make the attempt. Go in the center of that battlefield and take your place. That's what I want to see. So, I hope that, all of these fights can get done at some particular point, across the coming year. These are absolutely phenomenal wars to be made. You know what I mean? And, I wonder how soon Charlo is actually looking to get this cracking. How soon is he trying to get in the ring? You know what I'm saying? He says a fight date is pending. So I'm wondering if he already has an opponent in mind. Interesting, exciting stuff, you guys. He said something very interesting in one of his posts, also citing that, it wasn't by his own choice that he had remained out of the ring for as long as he had, right? He said the following. He said, I don't know if you guys saw this, but, he said, quote, "My 2-year layoff was not by choice. I've been sitting back watching, letting them talk. But now I'm sharper than ever, and I am coming for everything they thought I lost. I'm him. Lions only." End quote. I'm like, okay, Mel. Okay, I see you. I see what you're doing, and I see where you're trying to step. You know what I'm saying? I like that. But, and hearing that, his 2-year layoff wasn't necessarily his own doing, of course, that makes you wonder about, what the issues could have been that had been prohibiting, his movements and return into the ring. What have been those factors that kept this man out of the ring for 2 years? You know what I'm saying? Of course, he's with the PBC, and PBC has been, their level of inactivity with their fighters is should be a crime. You know what I'm saying? 2 years out of the ring. And of course, EJ is also with the PBC, and his inactivity, was that also due to some level of politics? What is going on? What is up with this inactivity we are seeing on that side, right? And we know, or we have been, hearing, certain reports about, the business side, being, kind of lapsadaisical on the PBC end. All types of speculations are being had about the fact that there is no network that they are, officially tied to. And I don't know what is going on behind the scenes. I just know that a hell of a lot of fighters, haven't been getting any work in, no fights being made. And, it definitely shines a light on, Mel over the past 2 years. And it certainly, you know, gives a little bit of shine as to why EJ himself, may have also been out of the ring. In addition to some of the things that we figured that he was dealing with concerning, his health concerns and stuff like that, that were leaked over the past 2 years since his fight with Bud. Interesting stuff indeed, you guys. Right? Definitely the PBC in general seems to have been in some type of stalemate. The inactivity there is a sin and a crime. Like I said, I don't know what the hell is going on over there. You know what I mean? Um, you know, Also interesting as far as Mel is concerned is the question of his trainer. And that also is, something that I am wondering about. Same thing with EJ. Who is EJ training with? We know that he parted ways with Derek James some time ago. And even though Mel hasn't officially made that type of confirmation as far as his departure from Derek James, um, I see none of his footage is showing him with Derek James that he has been posting on his social media. There's been no mention of Derek James. So it is quite possible that D. James lost every motherfucking elite fighter in his stable. You know what I'm saying? He lost Frank Martin. That's done, right? Even though Frank Martin had posited in an interview not too long ago with Champside that they did split, but that they split amicably, so that the relationship is still good between them. But Frank is no longer with Derek James, right? EJ has long been gone from Derek James, as we know, and now it's quite possible that Mel could have also departed and left that particular stable, right? Interesting stuff indeed there. But whatever that man has coming up, I'm just excited, that he is putting the boxing world on notice. And most definitely, all of the, hitters in his division have officially been put on notice. Sign me the fuck up. Line all of those fights up and get them shits done. Boxing needs it. Trust me. We need that. We need that smoke with Ortiz. We definitely need to see him against Boots. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see him take down that motherfucking giraffe on Dora. You know what I mean? Let's get this work popping. Let's do it the right way. You know what I mean? What did y'all think about that, you guys? Let me check in with my good family. I think I'm missing super chats. Yes. The King Freedom, I see you. Thank you so much. In the building, 10 toes with the support and the love, as usual, King Freedom. Thank you so much. He says, always standing 10 toes. Much love to my ever fiery counterpart. Yes, indeed, King. You already know what time it is. You already know what time it is, King Freedom. Thank you so much for the support of the channel, as usual. Oh, my goodness. We got the King NBA D Nice. He says, salute to the beautiful queen. Thank you so much, King. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for joining. Always wonderful to see you stopping by. We have Jonathan Simon in the building. Salute to you. Stormy B-Man, the king, is in the building. Salute to the king and the sensei, Stormy B-Man. Yes, King. Lovely to see you as always. As always. Here for Boxing says Jermell's capping Mars. Is he? You think you call cap on Mel Charlo? Here for Boxing? Why you think he capping? You don't think he want the smoke? You think he just wanted some attention right quick and call it a day? That he's not really about it? Interesting stuff. Why do you think that? Now I'm interested in hearing here for Boxing. Please explicate. Explicate for me. He said he capping. My twin says, I initially loved the move to fight Canelo until I saw how he performed. Yo, okay? You feel me? I felt the same way after that Madrimov performance. I'm like, motherfucker, that was your first fight at fucking 54. You looked, you know what I'm saying? You didn't look a shred of what you looked like against EJ. A shred of what you looked like against Porter. You know what I mean? That's your first fight at 54. You put on that, type of performance, and now you're going to jump up an additional 2 weight classes above that against the, face of boxing, according to many in the boxing world. Child. Interesting stuff. But that's what the feat is. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a testament to see that if this man, if it's probable, if it's doable, if he could actually materialize uh a victory, and not just a victory, but an enticing one, an exciting victory, one that he can make his mark with, make a statement. Interesting stuff that we're going to see in 2 weeks, people. Interesting stuff. I think everybody is on their toes to see what this man is going to do against Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? Interesting stuff. The great Mike says, I still rock with Jermell and Jamal. Me too. You know what I'm saying? Along the way, they have had their they have had their moments where I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Go sit down, please. Go in the corner. Go in the corner. You know what I mean? But overall, I have long liked and supported, these two brothers. Um, despite some of the antics that they had outside of the ring and stuff like that, they really are beautiful fighters. You know what I'm saying? Mel is a wonderful competitor. Maul has my favorite jab aside from Devin Haney's. Beautiful, beautiful jab. So that, it's hard to not, want to see them, get up there and display that wonderful talent that they have and possess. So, I wish the best for them. You know what I mean? I know there has been some turbulence for them, I guess, personally outside of the ring and stuff like that. So hopefully they, are continually working on, clearing their own path and not getting in their own way so that we could be able to enjoy and ride for and support, the mark that they intend to make in the boxing world, because they definitely stand to do that. They are wonderful competitors, despite, some of the charades that we have seen. I'm just scrolling through here to see. Oh my God, Twin. Um, Twin says, I just ain't feeling Charlo Brothers after I see how they hated on Wilder and Haney. Too much jig behavior. You know what I'm saying, Twin? You ain't never lied about that. And that's exactly, what I held them to the stake for as well. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I kind of am on a, even though I support them, it's kind of like a part-time ad hoc basis with them, because at any given point, they are bound to say something absolutely stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like Maul, when he was like, ain't no racism in boxing. And I think Mel has said that as well. You know what I'm saying? But when recently Maul, in the lead up to his recent fight that he had, he said something stupid about, oh, well, I'm black. I don't see color. What the fuck did he say? You white. And I say you white, but that don't mean I'm racist because I say you're a white man. What the fuck do these people be talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's just wild work. Wild work. The level of imbecility between these two men at times, it is enough for me to put them down. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. They definitely have me on the fence quite too many times. For me to act like, they're absolutely, my favorites, because that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? I kind of deal with them with a long-handled spoon at times. Like I said, I show up for their talent. I think that they're, mostly overall are really talented fighters, but the buffoonery be on a whole nother level, King. Is something you can't bypass or negate. Let me scroll in to see what my other people are talking about. Salute to the king. Steph in the building. I see you. He says, be well, Lady SugarFreeMars. Here today in the Lord's Day. God be with you, sister. Thank you so much, King Steph. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for dropping in, for sure. Oh my goodness, the Mac is in the building. Salute to the King Mac. I see you in the building. Nice to see you. Oh my goodness, my good brother, the King Shelton, is in the building. Salute to you, King. I see you. Okay, so I went a ways up. Let me go back down, see what you guys are talking about. Oh, okay. Been there the whole time. All right, so let me get to this. Oh, what did you say, King Hen Dog? Salute to you, by the way, if I didn't salute you earlier. He says that's because Spence's style is to come forward and take everything away from you. Bud was just faster, stronger, and powerful on that night. Madrimov didn't have the same injuries as Spence. Okay. Were you talking to somebody? Did I catch you like mid sentence? Hold on, let me charge my little stuff here. Hold on. Let me charge my stuff. Make sure I'm good to go and powered up. Okay, you guys. So, oh, you did? He says no, twin. I meant that for Jermell. Oh, okay. Okay, twin. I get you. Um, so that's where I stand as far as that. I thought that was wonderful. Some excitement. You know, whether you believe it or not, you have my stance, or whether you have kind of the perspective of the king here for boxing, who felt like, that's just cap. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? I am just glad that, you know, some heat is being, you know, focused in on 154, because the reality is that, you know, Bud Crawford will soon have no ties and no dealings with that division once he enters the ring with Canelo. So 154 is definitely, like I said, replete with all types of energy and smoke there to be had. So I'm glad that somebody, you know, is putting the 54 division on absolute notice. And I'm glad, you know, that it is, you know, the man who became undisputed there. It'll be wonderful to see if he can do it again and what mark he can make this time around. You know what I mean? So I definitely look forward to seeing what he intends to do. Now, that was the smoke time that I want to see. But there have been some things in boxing that have left, you know, me absolutely astounded, you guys. Let me take a sip of my water really quickly. Now, I wish that we can just be on smoke time. You know what I mean? I wish that we could just deal with credible, elite level warriorship, and that we can start to generate energy around that particular aspect of boxing. I have no idea for the life of me why, within this era of boxing, we cannot stay centralized around that concept and that heart and that spirit. For some reason, we always find ourselves back at a point of fucking sassy, senseless, delusional subterfuge. I'm sick of it, you guys. And that was exemplified to me over the past week via, you know, the charade of this bitch ass nigga, Naji, from Cigar Talk, and the guest that he decided to have on his podcast. Now, it is an imperative to me that in boxing, us Black supporters, particularly us genuine enthusiasts of the sport, right, do not allow for the denigrating, belittling, okay, derogating, or calumniating of our image or our culture and the overall respect that we hold as a people group. We cannot allow for the derogating of that. And for some reason, it is becoming quite popular within this current era of boxing to uphold and promote that. Okay? My good family knows good and well that this is something that I am fiercely staunch on and passionate about. I do not play when it comes to things like that. I do not, play when it comes to anything concerning or involving, our cultural respect and how we are dealt with, no matter what the platform may be, sports, entertainment, or otherwise. Okay? Because I am aware of the deliberate and intentional motives by which the media and all forms of entertainment are used to disavow and distort the image and representation of Black people. Boxing is no exception. As I say time and time again, good people, y'all already know what type of time I'm on and how many times I have alluded to this. Riri the racist is also no exception to how he decided to join in on this mocking and berating and compromising of our culture and our people, right? For the love and for the, garnering of attention, as we've seen him do and as we've seen him constantly benefiting from over the past year and a half now, right? Since that Devin Haney debacle. Okay. Now, as a public figure, racist Riri deliberately took it upon himself, let's not forget, to malign Black people. Let's not forget that. Because, people like to, catch and have convenient amnesia. This is another symptom of the delusion that has been going around, of the much larger sickness. This is a symptom of that. People catching convenient goddamn amnesia of the things that people do and say, so that there is no accountability had on the part of the people or the group that they want to save and cuss at. All right? Riri deliberately took it upon himself to malign Black people publicly and unapologetically for over a year. Okay? He said what he said, and the trope is still being upheld and coddled by the media. He is still allowed to get on and saunter his way onto platforms based off of the recognition he got from the vile, abhorrent tirade that he went on. Right? Where he outright stated, "I hate all ends." All right? Vile, abhorrent tirades about the death of George Floyd and how he wishes he could dig his body up, unalive him, just so that he can bury him again. This is the coward. This is whose ass is being totally kissed, wholeheartedly kissed in front of the camera in this interview. This is who Naji decided to cajolingly address on his platform. Let's not forget that an overwhelming majority, beautiful brothers and sisters, of the boxing world chose at the time that Ryan was saying all of this disgusting, disparaging comments. Majority of the boxing world chose to remain absolutely silent at the time, silent about the matter as it was unfolding. It was only the real ones, only a handful of us who stood 10 toes in holding his ass to the stake and not letting up on that pressure, putting his ass on blast. But everybody else, including Naji at that time, didn't say a goddamn word to that man or about that man and his sentiments. It is likely that he was among the people calling racist Riri pretty while he was guzzling this man to oblivion, calling him pretty and looking him in the eyes. He was among that crew. I'm verified on that now, okay? It's this puss that he was coddling on his podcast. Now, I was so utterly appalled, you guys, in watching this interview so utterly disgusted by what I saw, brothers and sisters, that I could not help but look at the state of mind of some Black folk. You know what I mean? Many of whom, love the idea of dancing around the issue, right? They like dancing around hard topics, making way for all types of, debacles to happen, just so that they do not have to confront anything. People like to flirt with the idea that they are representative or in support of the uprightness of the culture, right? They want to put on the cloak and the guise that they are, for the culture, right? But these people are absolute cowards and frauds. And this is 1000% exemplified for you in this instance with the taking on of this interview that Naji, decided to partake in and give platform to. Cowards. These people like him, because trust me, there are many, as we know, okay, in these boxing streets. There are people who are only in place to pillage and feed off of the culture. They don't give a fuck about anything beyond what popularity it can garner them. And unfortunately, there is an audience that is built around and for these frauds based in, the falsity, based in the false association and the notion that a clown like Naji is going to be operating in their best interest or in the interest of the upliftment of our cultural representation, simply because he is Black, simply because he talks the talk, walks the walk. You know what I mean? We automatically assume that he's going to uphold the representation and the respect of that culture. That is not the case. And he absolutely proved that within this interview. Okay? The fact that this coward chose to sit down and coddle, acquiesce, a filthy, drug-cheating pussy who only gained a level of stardom that he never previously had simply because he compromised one of the most outstanding young elite Black fighters in boxing today. That's a sin and a goddamn shame. And also because, he additionally took, Ryan additionally took, that is, a step to disparage, not only compromise, but disparage and berate Black people to the point of mocking our deaths at the hands of police brutality. This is how he got his fame. This is how he became a beloved darling to the boxing media. By the defamation of Black life, brothers and sisters. Let's not forget. And in his disparaging comments and his careless, vile sentiments around our deaths by the hands of police brutality, he hence disgraced an entire history of injustice onto our people, who have been subjugated like no other people group in this nation. This is the motherfucker who he has interviewed. Y'all want to play cute, and I'm sure some people in here would like me to speak softly. The fuck out of the kitchen if it's too goddamn hot. This is the coward that Naji is on his knees for in this interview. So he's absolutely going to be held to the fire by me, because I don't play the dumb shit. You brought this man on to dote upon this man, and especially you guys, to a largely Black audience. Who the fuck do you think watches Cigar Talk overwhelmingly, majoritively, other than Black folk? You brought him on camera in front of your predominantly black viewership so that you can save face for him and beg and bow your head for some acceptance of this motherfucker? Crazy work. Nothing about this can be, tolerated on any level. Now, the young king, Devin, prior to the official release of this particular episode of Cigar Talk, Devin Haney seems to have gotten wind. I don't know how many of you are on Twitter, okay? But you should be, because a lot of stuff goes there in the boxing world that you don't, readily hear anywhere else. You get to see a lot of stuff in real time on Twitter as far as boxing is concerned. But Devin Haney got wind prior, like I said, to the official release of the episode of the clip that Naji posted on his Twitter, basically to promote the interview. Naji promoted a clip of him sitting in the fucking chair, dancing, tap dancing next to Ryan. Him and Ryan are just snapping their fingers like some two sassy bitches, snapping and clapping it up in this clip. Okay? And Devin responds to this post, by saying simply but sternly the following. This is Devin. Quote, Naji is a sellout. End quote. That's what Devin said to the posting of that clip, right? And 1000% I was glad to see the young King Devin speak up, because it's precisely the sentiment that every conscious and intelligent black person held upon seeing this bullshit. We're like, the fuck? This nigga did an interview with Ryan and he's clapping it up and snapping his fingers and, oh, I'm GQ. Yeah, I'm GQ. What? All of us real ones was looking at that shit like, excuse me, sir? The fuck are you doing? And Naji responded to Devin, ladies and gentlemen. He responded, and he was absolutely, obviously salty that Devin had called him out. And in his cooning ass feelings, okay, he chose to coon even more, right? Because, coons don't like to be called out for what they are. Oh, they don't like that shit. That's the worst thing that you can do to a bootlicking ass coon, right? They like to coon in disguise. That's what they prefer to do. They like to coon in the shadows, all right? Because they are natural cowards and simps. And so if you call them out, it is very difficult for them to take any level of accountability whatsoever, right? That's like the holy water to a goddamn demon. You splash some accountability on a coon, his ass is gonna motherfucking melt. All right? They cannot handle the reality or pressure of anything. Anything. That is an absolute coon trait, you guys. And this is exactly what we saw exemplified in Naji lashing out to Devin. This is what this motherfucker responded to Devin, you guys. Okay? Naji wrote, quote, the left hook must still have you not seeing straight, because I'm the realest interviewer in the game. Your feelings are misguided, young man. Tighten up and make sure you're focused on being norm. Tough fight ahead. End quote. This is what this fucking pussy said to Devin. This motherfucker with half his fucking head chopped off like a fucking 72 Cadillac with the goddamn sunroof pulled back. That's what this nigga's hairline is looking at. And he is talking to Devin about tighten up your fucking hairline, you fucking pussy. What? What? The goal of this man. Tighten your fucking barber up. Tighten up your genetics. God forbid you pass that fucking hairline down to your children. Excuse me? Oh my God, y'all. Let me calm the hell down. Now, Naji has since deleted that response to Devin. Okay, this particular one, because they went back and forth a little bit, right? But he's deleted this particular response that he made to Devin. He went back and deleted it. And I wonder why. Could it be that it was because he completely exposed his lack of, journalistic integrity, right? This man told Devin, left hook must still have you not seeing straight. Do you hear this sassy bitch? Do you hear this sassy bitch? I mean, are you talking about the left hook of the man that was a proven drug cheat in that fight? Is that the left hook you're talking about? So let me get this straight. So in essence, Naji is then promoting drug cheating in boxing. Is that what I'm hearing? He is promoting drug cheating in boxing and pardoning the actions of a filthy drug cheat and the usage of banned substances that could have posed further harm onto a life already on the line when you are a fighter. Is this what this man is condoning? Oh, the left hook must have knocked your head loose. What? The drug-induced left hook? Is this man kidding me? Is this what we are defending? So in other words, Ryan Garcia is worth you going full steam ahead to calumniate, besmirch, and revile Devin Haney over. You are willing to go to that length to lose all sense of journalistic responsibility? God damn. Is the dick that good, Naji? I mean, shit. You willing to go over the hill for this motherfucker? You know what I mean? In this case, ladies and gentlemen, we now see why this man was so alacritous about having Riri the Racist on his show. Now we know. Hopefully, no further questions need to be asked at this particular juncture, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Let's not ask, well, why did he have him on his show? The dick is good. That's why. Apparently, this man is crashing out over racist Riri. Lord have mercy. This is why he had him on his show, good people. This is why he had him on his show, speaking to him lovingly and devotedly. I don't know how many of you watched that interview, but goddamn, talk to me nice, baby. He was all soft and all roses and all tenderness in this discussion. Okay? And that's because he is in 100% agreement. Whether he wants to admit it or not, he is in 100% agreement with what was done by that cheating coward racist Riri. And he was in full support of what was said by racist Riri subsequently. In full support of it. He had no problem with anything that Ryan said. All right? This is what we would call a cooning media shill. It's exactly what this coward is. We got to call these people for what they are. You know what I mean? We have to be vehement about the placement of our heat. Ain't no half stepping. You on the bullshit, we're going to hold you to that. You going to have to hold that. Period. Tired of these coward ass people. Now, I absolutely refused, brothers and sisters, to sit through that entire debacle of an interview. I refused to do that. Okay, so I just skimmed through from top to bottom so that I can pull, the poignant pieces that I wanted to discuss, because my intelligence, would have absolutely been run amok and assaulted sitting through that fuckery. I just got to speak, how I feel it. Right? But like I said, I did want to pull some portions to share with you and disclose with you today. We ought to be aware, of the types of working agendas that are in place and that are in full swing against our intelligence, period, as boxing fans, period, because everybody is being inculcated with this nonsense. It is aimed at our people, but everybody is getting this. Nobody is being spared from this debacle and debauchery. Now, these things are out here, outright playing with our names, playing in our faces. And it will only continue so long as it's, allowed and taken as if, it were not imperative at all. So long as it's not seen as an imperative to dispel and absolutely shut down, this shit is going to continue. Oh, it's just boxing. It's just boxing, y'all. Why are you going so deep? You going too deep. You looking at it too deep. Yeah, because you're a fucking idiot and you have no critical thinking capacity or ability whatsoever. So of course it'll go over a simpleton's fucking head. You can't see your own fucking hand from your asshole, many of these people out here. Right? So, I can't stand how easily swindled some of our people are. Some of our people allow themselves to be by these types of things, especially and specifically as given to them by the media. As soon as it comes from the media, it's like some old hound dog just ready to lap up and lick up everything that's in front of them. No discernment, no reconnaissance or inquiry whatsoever that are done by these people. They just take it for what the fuck it is. No discernment. And too many people among the boxing world have become of that particular mindset. That needs to be discarded of ASAP. That's what I look to absolutely dispel on my platform. I will not tolerate that here. Critical thinking is absolutely essential when you walk into this space. You need to be ready to divulge and sit with reality and the truth. Black people are always being spoken to and addressed, even when and within the things that you think are leisurely. You are especially being spoken to and addressed in those departments. Entertainment is the most insidious form of your education or lack thereof. Now, you guys tell me what you think is being communicated here by both parties in this interview, right? Now, this is the approach that Naji chose to take within the segment of the interview with Riri. Truthfully, I am not certain as to why this pussy, Naji, even bothered to ask the question or refer to this particular incident of the racist tirade at all. I have no reason why he even postured or motioned to ask the question, because he wasn't going to solve anything. He wasn't going to check this man on anything. This was simply, for the guise of, coming across as if he intended to stand on some type of business. It's a showpiece, in other words. This man's only motive was to appear as if, he felt morally bound to get down to the truth and ask the hard-hitting, pressing questions. Oh, because he's so real. He's the realest in the game, according to him, right? Perhaps he wanted to go viral again in this instance, the way he said he went viral when he approached Teofimo Lopez. The way he applauded himself for going and approaching Teofimo Lopez, right? I guess he wanted to further conceal his coon chip activation by making it seem, as best he could, that the race issues are valuable topics that he has no problem addressing on his platform, right? So long as he stands to go viral from it, that is. So long as enough eyes are liable to watch, that is, right? Now, this coward attempts to adorn the facade, because that's what it is. He attempted to adorn the facade of pressing the issue with racist Riri by stating the following. This is how he goes into it, right? He says, quote, "Now, I got to bring this up, Ryan. Last year, when you were going through those things, you made some comments about George Floyd and towards Black people. And a lot of people were upset. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of them, because I was like, I like you as a fighter. So when I heard that, I'm like, nah, I know he ain't say that. You know what I'm saying? We were pissed off, Ryan. We didn't like that. But tell me, is that something that, do you regret those comments? Do you hear this pussy? Do you hear this pussy? Oh, I like you. And I'm like, he couldn't have possibly have said that. Do you hear this coward? Now, Ryan sat there in that seat, cool as a goddamn cucumber. He got his shades on. He's chilling. Okay, that man probably coked up to his motherfucking neck, right? Ryan's sitting there cool as a goddamn cucumber, ladies and gentlemen, just nonchalant as he could be, right? Completely removed. Okay? This man is sitting in that motherfucking seat, y'all. No cap. This man, Ryan, was trying to, trying to do his best to search for some semblance, some shred of some way that he could muster up some type of display, an ounce of feeling that he could put on and act, to show some remorse for. This man was trying his bestest, y'all, bestest, not best, but bestest, to put on some emotion, to answer this question that he was asked, you guys. And it was so goddamn obvious that this motherfucker gave no fucks whatsoever. He gave no goddamn fucks, okay? It was like watching a fish trying to scramble to walk on land. That's what this man, he's just twirling in his seat and just tapping his goddamn knee. What is going on? He didn't give a damn. All right? The man went blank. He gave so little fucks that he drew a blank. He couldn't even think of a reason. He couldn't even think of an answer that would be befitting to the question. And it was evident that, he couldn't give less of a damn, right? Because, the reality, you guys, is that he has been assured for the past year and a half. He has been absolutely, assured in the notion that pussies like Naji have forgiven him already. They forgave him once he fucking said it. He has been assured of that. He has been welcomed with open arms by these cowards who refuse to step to him and who are too cowardly to check him. So that he has no pressure, no stress on his back whatsoever as it pertains to this. Now, this is what Ryan goes on to say in response to that fucking simping ass question. This is Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Quote, oh, nah, I regret those comments. Shit, man. What do I say about that, bro? We were on live, me and my friend Foolie. He's the one that introduced me to rapping and everything. We were just being idiots, high and saying the stupidest shit all the time. And, one time we went on live and, people were exchanging stupid comments to me. And I was saying stupid shit to them. And I was against the cancel culture and was like, man, I could say whatever the fuck I want. Then they were saying whatever the fuck they want. So, it was kind of a tumble effect. And it became like almost like a Call of Duty group chat. And we were just saying stupid shit. To be honest, you know what I'm saying? But I really didn't think of the magnitude of what I was saying at the time. I didn't think about, who it was hurting. I was very immature in that way. I kind of got almost caught up in that streaming like culture where they say whatever the fuck they want and like nobody gives a fuck because they're streamers, right? So I kind of got involved with that. But, once I seen like, damn, people really got hurt by the things I said. Like a lot of my Black fans, like everybody, I really kind of felt the weight of it. And, it kind of snapped me out of whatever the fuck kind of thinking I was thinking at the time. Like, damn, nah, I really got a responsibility for my fans and people that are really looking up to me. And I really did regret it. And I definitely apologize for those comments. And yeah, I feel bad, man, but it is what it is, right? End quote. That's a real ass quote, y'all. I took my time and wrote that shit verbatim. This is the fuck what the man said. It is what it is. Do you hear this fucking pompous, cowardly, spineless puss? It is what it is. Oh my God, you guys. Sitting through that to type this man's entire statement was like, yo, I could have threw something at my fucking television, y'all. Crazy work. Crazy work listening to that shit bit by bit, sentence by sentence, in full. Crazy work. Now, Riri then goes on after he mentions that statement, the disgusting, baseless excuse that he tries to emote with some semblance of remorse and feeling, right? But he absolutely failed miserably at. Okay. He then goes on to look for some good old cooning reassurance. Some good old cooning reassurance from Naji, right? Because even though this man was capping, it's undeniable that he was put on the spot nonetheless by this question. So he had to get some good old coon and loving from Naji, right? He needs to be shielded from the little bit of accountability that he pretended to take in that lying ass statement that he made. It was much too much for him. Even though he capped his ass off, that little moment of trying to come off as being accountable for what he said was much too much for pretty racist Riri, right? Much too much for that. Poor thing, the man couldn't take it, right? So this pussy Riri runs into the arms of Naji immediately after his sorry attempt at an apology or an excuse or whatever the fuck that was supposed to be. And he asked Naji, oh, but do you think that I'm a racist, bro? Right? And Naji, with his coon cap draping over his back, blowing in the wind, baby, he swoops in to save racist Riri. The coon cape blowing in the motherfucking wind. You hear me? This nigga said, oh, I don't feel like that about your boss. No, not one bit, boss. You too creamy to be evil. You too creamy and pretty to be racist, boss. Right? This is what he is saying. Essentially, this is his energy to swoop in and save the day of his pretty little racist Riri, right? And Ryan then goes on to push for some more coon and loving because he didn't feel like the energy was surrounding him enough. He needed some more coon loving from Naji, some more coon reassurance from Naji, right? More of that good old coon embrace. So Ryan pressingly asks, this is what Ryan presses. He says, but do you think it was from a racist intent is what I'm saying? Right? So he asked him, do you think I'm racist? Here go Naji, cooning his life away. No, I don't think it. And Ryan presses the issue. Do you think it was from a racist intent is what I am saying, is what Ryan then asked. And here comes good old Naji, eyes bucking to the sky, baby. You hear me? His eyes bucking, full of tears, damn near. All because of his creamy, beloved Riri being almost held to the stake. He couldn't take it, right? He couldn't take his beloved creamy Riri and the idea that even for a fraction of a moment, he could be asked such a dreadful question that would leave him accountable in front of that camera. He couldn't deal with the fact that Riri could have potentially been put on blast for even a moment, you guys. You understand? So what does he do? This is what Naji says, you guys. Absolutely disgusting work. This is a quote. I didn't feel like that. I felt like what you said was racist, but I didn't feel like that before. I felt like, Ryan was, no, let me do that again. Because I want to get this right for y'all. This is the quote. I didn't feel like that. I felt like what you said was racist, but I didn't feel like before that, I felt like, Ryan was doing racist stuff. Because I had an interaction with Teofimo Lopez that kind of went viral where, I told him how I felt aggressively about what he was saying. And I think for the Tio situation, for me, I know a lot of people don't agree, but I felt, I felt like, hold on, what did I write? I felt, how I felt was that, if you keep doing it. So he's basically saying that Tio was in a situation where he kept saying racist things, right? He said, I felt like for the Tio situation, I felt like he kept doing it. I heard you do something. Then it was like, you apologized and I haven't heard it again. So for me, it was like, it was one of those things. I didn't like it, but I guess I'll move past it. But for people who keep doing shit like that, that's when I have a problem with it. Do you hear this shit, y'all? Do you hear this? So now he pressed Tio because Tio, at that particular point that he was on that video clip talking to Tio about what he was saying, Tio kept doing it. Tio had a habit and a pattern of saying vile, dumb shit about Black people. But in Ryan's case, he's not mad at his beloved Creamy Riri because Riri had only done it that one time. Is this the fucking logic of this man? Make it make sense, y'all. I don't think it's possible to. It's absolutely impossible to, because you can't. The foolery is absolutely insurmountable. There's no getting around this one, y'all. Okay? Nothing. Nothing to be done here, y'all. This is the level of imbecility that we are witnessing among so-called boxing media, so-called credible media outlets. Crazy work, you guys. Absolute crazy work. Excuse me? Did he not see the monkey video? The supposed rap video that Ryan tried to do with the monkey on his side? Right? That he and his racist fucking sympathizers all up and down that comment were posturing was representative of Devin, the man who he just outright cheated at that particular time. Did he not hear the nappy-headed comment of Ryan's father during that presser? Right? Did he not hear and see the tweet of Ryan saying, "I hate all niggas"? What is going on? Did he not see Ryan get on his Instagram live and say, "Fuck that, I ain't apologizing for a motherfucking thing"? Did he miss that? Did he miss that? I guess he missed the goddamn memo. What the hell are you talking about? You just did it one time. I don't give a goddamn if you thought about it, motherfucker. You got problems with me. And any real one, any cognizant person that you try to bring that nonsense to. Excuse me? Cowardice. Absolute cowardice. These people got to be called out for what the hell they are. Tio didn't do nothing different from no goddamn racist Riri. That's a tag team whole affair that you got between those two men. All right? You're trying to spare him. Oh, I approached Tio. He kept saying it. He said it repeatedly. You only said it one time. It was just one of those things. Do you hear this man juggling the balls? What the fuck is this? What is this? Insane work. Now, another matter of folly within this mockery of an interview, okay? Because that's what it was, that I came across, was this crazy, theme that has been repeated and absolutely, made redundant over the past year and a half, just about, right? This recurring theme, right? Which is the supposition made on the part of boxing media and all of his sympathizers, real talk. You know what I'm saying? The supposition and incessant need to indoctrinate the boxing public with this crazy idea, this false, farcical idea that Riri the racist is a victim, right? And a victim by way of being made constantly associated with the tagline of mental illness. This has become his tagline, you guys. Mental illness. Oh, Ryan, you have been dealing with mental illness now. Oh, how have you recovered? We know that you have struggled. Do you understand? So that once again, this is at play in this particular interview, right? At a certain segment in the interview. This is an ongoing farce and absurdity, like I said, that the media, through and through, love to employ whenever Ryan takes the stage. It is their go-to ever since the Ryan fight with Devin. Their go-to. It's something that they must inculcate into the public that is watching and engaging. This idea, this falsity that he is a mental illness victim. Okay? In no such time has this man ever been celebrated or held up or touted, as the poster boy for no goddamn mental illness. No such correlation was made, adamantly being attributed to this man. No such thing. All of a sudden, in the build up to this fight with Devin Haney, and certainly during the aftermath of it, as we know, right? As we've seen it still being explicated. Okay? You cannot find a tweet, an interview, or whatever that fails to reference in some capacity or measure this man's alleged mental health struggles. It's crazy. It's the most simping ass, plotting ass lie that they can push, all so that they can play on the sympathy of the gullible who are not paying attention whatever. Okay? It's the most travestied and contrived plot I have seen at work in this era of boxing. It's disgusting, the pushing of this notion. And once again, just as in everything, y'all, only a few real ones have been holding this lie to the stake and calling the charades for what the fuck it is. An absolute lie. Oh, Riri, oh, my betrothed, oh, my beloved. Oh my goodness. We know your struggles with mental health. Oh my God. How are you recovering, my love? Oh, I just cannot bear to see you emotionally go asunder. Please let me take your sins away, Ryan. Oh my goodness, let me take your burdens away. I know that you said Tupac owes you $20 in a Happy Meal, but you only said that because you were hurting. Oh my God. Right? This is how they come off. This is how they come off. Simping and capping and cajoling this coward. Oh, your mental health. Oh, don't stress yourself too much now. You hear? Oh, it's much too much for you to bear. You are a victim of mental illness. How dare the world be so hard on you when you're dealing with this? What the fuck? This has been absolutely ridiculous watching this nonsense unfold, you guys, for us real ones who have been paying attention. This coward and racist and all of his sympathizers in media and otherwise will do anything to placate the delusion in order to justify his fucking cheating of Devin Haney. It's all justification for his cheating of Dev. That's all that this stands to do. Oh, don't put too much pressure on him now, you hear? He is fragile. Oh, his spirit is so fragile and delicate. We've got to delicately handle Ryan Garcia. He's so tender and delicate. We must be gentle with him. Don't you come down hard on him, you hear? He can only take but so much. Oh, don't pay attention to the fact that he's a fucking cheating racist. Oh, go easy on him now, you hear? That's all that this is a measure to put in place. His safeguarding from accountability and responsibility for his actions and his sentiments expressed. They will do whatever in order to maintain that cloak and guise over the gullible section of the boxing public who will foolishly regurgitate this nonsense and foolishly believe and be swindled by it. You know what I'm saying? And this coon, Naji, is part and parcel of the maintenance of that nonsense. At a particular point in the interview, brothers and sisters, Naji asked Ryan, while slurping sumptuously, might I add, okay, slurping sumptuously on this man's peens, he asked if Ryan had ever clinically been diagnosed with mental health disorders, right? Bipolar disorder, to which Ryan, just as a lying imbecile would attempt to do, right? He tried once again searching for a way to cover himself with the label of being mentally ill or mentally bipolar, clinically bipolar, right? But he was absolutely unable to substantiate such a claim and verify such a claim, right? So to the question that was posed to him, if he had been clinically diagnosed with bipolar disorder, this is what Ryan had to say. Quote, you guys, this shit is the fucking craziest shit ever. Listen to this, man. Listen to this quote. This is Ryan. Quote, I mean, look how this man scrambles. Ryan says, I mean, I've had, I guess I had symptoms of bipolar, manic disorder, but the psychologists and the people that diagnose you, they never confirmed it. But they have said, that possibly that could have been it. Possibly could have been that. But as far as medicine, never took medicine. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of, them wanting to see if something else happens, right? I feel like I have, like in 2021, after Luke Campbell, I felt like I had bipolar manic type of episode. So I do deal with those type of things, but they won't say that I'm bipolar though, because it's so random. They don't know if it's because or it comes by way of, after a fight, or they don't know if it's from drinking alcohol. They don't know. So they can't say that I'm bipolar, but they could say that it can be triggered by something like big stress in my life, like divorce, like something that can trigger it. But as far as consistently bipolar, no. Do you hear this shit, y'all? That was a fucking quote, you guys. I wrote every word he said. This is a response. Oh, as far as consistently bipolar, no. Let me get this straight up, beautiful people. What the fuck is this pussy talking about? And when has bipolar become a part-time job? Excuse me? What the hell does this coward mean by consistently bipolar? No, he's not consistently bipolar. So being bipolar has a schedule. Is there something I'm not privy to, beautiful people? Can you set an alarm and set your calendar as to when and how a mental disorder operates? Am I missing something? Is there a time that we can delineate specifically to bipolar flare-ups? And if it doesn't operate within a certain amount of time, or it works best when you are actually consistent with it, because if it's inconsistent, then it's on, it's part-time, and you know what I'm saying, it's there, but it's not, it's in the shadows, even though, the doctors ain't claiming me to be a motherfucking thing related to bipolar, but it's there in the shadows hovering. Is this what's happening? Is this what we're going to consider part-time bipolar disorder? So this clown is a part-time mental illness holding personality. What is going on? And so the doctors can't say that you've got bipolar disorder. You just have tendencies of bipolar. Is that what's going on? You have tendencies and symptoms that are happening, but they can't claim it. Excuse me, you guys. To my understanding, if you are showing symptoms of a disease or any type of disorder significantly enough that they can catch it and record it, wouldn't that mean that you would be liable to be treated for those symptoms that you are displaying, you fucking idiot? Aren't that what symptoms denote? Aren't they in context to a larger issue specific to that particular disorder or disease? What is this clown talking about? The reality is that he's just getting up there capping his ass off, and he's being 1000% allowed to do so. This is what happens when you are dealing with this level of imbecility and the cossetting of imbecility. Okay? It's absolutely crazy, you guys. This clown is allowed to sit up there time and time again and cap his ass off. And these fucking pussies allow him the space and the platform to do it. He is allowed to get up there, essentially, in other words, to insult the intelligence of the boxing public. And us conscious ones, us real ones in the building, we got to sit down and watch this spectacle take place. Because unfortunately, There are so few intelligent, no nonsense having real ones who are willing to stand 10 toes on this motherfucker's neck and anyone else who pushes this garbage. There are a few of us who are willing to do that and call the bullshit out for what the fuck it is. This is why he can get up there and saunter around and gasconade within his delusion and expect you to swallow it fully. It's crazy. The fact that there are droves and droves of people who won't even raise a single question as to what was said in that interview, won't even attempt any level of inquisition whatsoever, let alone, be willing to call out the bullshit. It's repulsive, you guys. Absolutely repulsive. Oh, the psychologists and the people that diagnose you, they never confirmed it, but they have said, that possibly, that could have been that. Excuse me? What you mean possibly? Either you fucking have the disorder or you don't. What could have possibly been that? There is no possibly, you lying retard. This shit is crazy to me. You have not been diagnosed because you do not have bipolar disorder or any mental disorder. What you have is a fucking coke problem, an addiction to alcohol, and possibly crack and meth and whatever else the fuck is that you do. I wouldn't be surprised, right? You're a fiend in that goddamn department. Every time this man talks, he speaks about drug problems, like in the build up to that presser with Devin Haney. Oh, I was kind of lit, at that press conference. That's what he told at a particular point. I was lit at the Devin press conference in the earlier half of that interview. I was lit. I was kind of lit in that interview. Every reference he has is to his drug use. Of course, you fucking cokehead. That's what you do. In addition to taking PEDs, you filthy drug cheating coward. That is your thing, pussy. The only thing that this chump should be a poster boy of is a white nose and rehab going goddamn wrong. Crazy work. Not one time also in this pointless sit down did the subject of his PED usage come up, ladies and gentlemen. They couldn't wait to reminisce about Devin. They could not wait. They wasted no time on simping over the folly and fraudulence of his quote unquote mental health sham, right? His claim to, mental health issues, it's a serious thing and we got to pay attention to it, right? He didn't, real talk, Ryan didn't even have to use lube on Naji to get exalted for being a genius at social media. You're such an expert. How did you, get the acquisition, the business acumen to be, such a social media presence? Ryan didn't need not a drop of lube, y'all. Okay. But of course, there was no mention of him being a drug cheat that was uttered even once. Oh, we can't have that now, you hear? No, we can't. Zaddy won't like that. We can't ask Zaddy those types of questions, right? These two clown ass bitches are symptoms of what is taking place in boxing, what is brewing beneath the surface and readily becoming to be seen as normal. This level of cowardice and debauchery. This is what's becoming normalized in boxing and what's averting every shred of esteem and credibility away from this sport as a whole. It's crazy to me, you guys. Coward, counterfeit ass so-called fighters and their simping shills and coons, these faint-hearted sympathizers who take orders to follow suit. This is what's at hand and at play here. And real talk, it's expected, you guys. It's expected that racist Riri would go on and gasconade and flaunt his carelessness and his delusion around, of course, given the fact that he's got this newfound fame off of, basically disgracing the sport. But it's cowards like Naji who also need to be given no mercy while we are putting the pressure on this coward and chump Ryan. Naji and people like him need to also be held to that fire and that stake mercilessly. Because real talk, it is how he is perceived by people within our community that holds a much more insidious potential based upon the fact that he is liable to be accepted by people of our culture because of his relatability in the community. Let's not forget that it is always your own that is used against you in the benefit of your enemy. All right? So he's going to push those old agendas. He's going to alacritiously run towards the promoting of the folly, so long as he has access to the resources that will sustain his business and his visibility and notoriety. Same old goddamn tricks. Yet many people within our community are not learning the lessons. They are falling for the same tricks and traps. Oh, it's just boxing. Oh, it's just boxing, y'all. Let's not get too deep in this. Right? This motherfucker whose headline slides back like a fucking 73 Cadillac. Okay? Motherfucker whose hairline's favorite song is Summer Breeze Makes Me Feel Fine. That nigga. This is the nigga. I'm over it, y'all. This chump is absolutely 1000% done to me. Yes, and I said his hairline has a favorite song. Yes. I said what I said. Summer breeze makes me feel fine. That's his hairline's favorite song. His favorite song is different, but his hairline, that's his hairline's jam. Okay? Because that hairline get every bit of the breeze that blows through the window or through the park on any given goddamn Sunday. All right? It is this chump that has the audacity to speak about a left hook to Devin Haney in that comment that he subsequently deleted. This motherfucker, this coward that never threw a punch in his life, his barber needs to throw a left hook at that goddamn hairline. That's what I'm waiting on. Somebody tell his barber to throw a left hook and uppercut at that bitch. All right? Maybe we can knock it back into some consciousness. Crazy work. Crazy, crazy work. Maybe that shit will come out of hiding for once and for all. From the back of his asshole, because that's apparently where that hairline is hiding. All the way behind that man's asshole some goddamn where. You know, the same asshole that's Ryan's favorite place to rest. All of his bipolar manic symptoms. Okay? Crazy work to me, you guys. Now, let me check in with the chat. I had to go all the way in it, y'all. No half stepping today. Not on my goddamn watch. I was through with this. So, no, you're going to get all this heat and this pressure. I don't like the imbecility. I absolutely loathe the juvenility and the disregard and disrespect of the sport. And most certainly the denigrating of our culture and our people. I don't play with it. And the uprightness of somebody so astute, and valor and valiant as Devin Haney. How dare you? And any Black elite fighter on the come up can be liable and susceptible to this type of nonsense, so long as we got cowardly people pushing this nonsense around and upholding it as if it were acceptable. It's disgusting to me. Oh my goodness, you guys. The King Freedom says, yeah, Naji was whining in that live. He had a live? I didn't see it. Absolutely, King Stephen, shucking and a motherfucking jiving. Okay? Yes, King Judd. My family know what time it is. Y'all know I'm not, up in here capping. Just a tap dancing away and happy to do so. Coons don't like the light. No, they don't. No, they don't, twin. Crazy work, you guys. Crazy work. Yeah. My twin says, damn, not the RoboCop hairline. What? That hairline said, diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging in the sea with the gangster lean. Ooh. What? That sunroof ain't no motherfucking joke on top of that man's head, y'all. You see it? I put it in the damn thumbnail. I put it in the thumbnail. Exhibit goddamn A. All right. Crazy work, y'all. Oh, really, King Stephen? He admitted to deleting the tweet because it was not professional. He's scared of losing his Sony job. Oh, see, just as I suspected, King. Just as I suspected. Don't, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. You had the wherewithal to type that sassy ass shit. He probably had both of his fucking pinky nails up typing that sassy ass goddamn response. Why don't you leave it there? Right? And anyway, it's too goddamn late. Because Devin saw it and responded and took absolute note of it as he should have. Right? Sassy bitch. Crazy, crazy work. You guys, tread lightly, tread at your own risk and at your own discretion to go ahead and watch that nonsense. Like I said, I did not watch that interview through and through. I just skimmed through from top to bottom to get to the points and listen to maybe about, a few seconds worth of a portion here and there so that I can pull, the points that I wanted to talk about. I refuse to sit there and watch that nonsense. I was even deciding, initially to not even give a view, to that nonsense. But for the sake of discussion, it was imperative that, we discuss this fully and unabashedly in our sit down today. Crazy work, because we need to be aware of this. These are the types of things that are going on. This is what is being aided and abetted. This type of logic and nonsense and perspective. No, we cannot have that. We need to be aware of the nonsense. Crazy work. Exactly, twin. And to this day, he has not apologized to George Floyd's family. Of course not. Oh, I regretted it, but it is what it is. Excuse me? Oh my God, you guys. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's exactly what he was saying, King Stephen. Like, that's his response to everything. Like, yeah, man, fuck. How do I respond to that? Get this fucking ignorant ass imbecile the fuck out my face. Crazy work. My beautiful sister said, until I see the paperwork, I am not convinced. 1000% Queen Cam. My Cammy, you know what time it is, sis. All right. I think I missed some super chats. Let me salute the people showing love to the channel. Definitely smash the like button, you guys. Hey, I remembered you guys. Definitely smash the like button. I always forget to say that. Smash the like button. Definitely don't be timid about showing support to the channel. It definitely goes a long way and is definitely much appreciated as well. So let me see my people in the building showing love. Oh, my beautiful Mama Love came in the building with some extra loving today. She says, adding a little color for a great cook by my girl, the Warrior Queen. Yes, indeed, my love. Thank you so much for showing love to the channel. As always, beautiful queen. That's my Mama Love, Tequila Fields, in the building. Salute to Young World. He says, salute Queen Sugar Free, my Leo sister. Oh, and salute to the chat. You are a Leo too? I love my Leos. Big, big salute to you, King. That lion and lioness energy and nothing less. You understand? Okay, salute to you. And salute to my twin, my beloved twin, Daryl Anderson in the super chat. He says, just adding some color to the chat for another great and eye-opening live. Keep up the fight, twin. We stand behind you 10 toes down. Absolutely, twin. You already know what time I'm stepping on. All right? We don't play the games. All right. We play no games up in here. The family knows how we stepping and how we rolling at all times. Ain't that crazy work, you guys? For anybody who have seen that interview, salute to the King. I see you. KDB Sports. He says salute to the chat room. Nice to see you, King. Thank you so much. We have somebody named 9 Mile Players. He says both pinky nails is nasty work. Ain't it? Ain't it? Trust me. Both pinky nails was up typing that sassy ass response to Devin. All right. I have no doubt about it. Now, wasn't that some, insidious work, you guys? For anybody who has seen that interview or for anybody who intends to go on and peep that, take a gander at it. Like I said, you got to tread lightly. You have to have a stomach to sit through all of that, which I definitely was not going to devote any ounce of my time to. Um, even the bit that I had, acquired for the sake of today's discussion was, just absolutely mind blowing. You know what I mean? But if you have the stomach for it, um, it is there. I don't encourage the support of that man's channel or of that man's work. I have absolutely rescinded all levels of respect for that coward Naji. And Ryan Garcia, of course, has already, fallen off the deep end, never to return, never to be resuscitated again, as far as I'm concerned. And so that's that. But what a fucking, debacle that was, you guys. Crazy work indeed. Now, I wanted to touch on this aspect really quickly as we end. I did want to touch on this, speaking about malarkey, and something that I found to be, quite interesting. Now, as far as folly and the idea of sympathizers and just a charade. Now, you guys, Tank Davis apparently believes that he's got the hand of God. The hand of God to smite anybody he sees fit, right? He's got the wherewithal, the golden palm, okay, that is liable to giveth and taketh away in the sport of boxing. This man has taken on, I don't know, is this a complex of some sort, a God complex? What's going on? A sassy complex is more like it to me, right? What the hell is going on with this little ass Smurf Red Light Special Davis, good people? Red Light Special Davis is really out here wilding out. Okay? He's feeling extra sassy over the past week, apparently. Red Light is out here wilding. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have seen on Twitter, the little back and forth that happened between he really briefly and Lamont Roach, of course, upon the news and the event that's going to be taking place between Tank Davis and Jake Paul and all of that. And Lamont Roach was basically kind of at that over the past week responding to people who were saying that he was he had received money to stand down and to step aside so that Tank can go ahead and fight Jake Paul and all of this type of stuff. So Roach basically took to Twitter to dispel that. He posted the following. He says, quote, "All you stupid motherfuckers know, if I received some step aside money, I would have told you and showed you. Kill that narrative right now." Right? That's the statement made from Lamont Roach. Now, Tank's little sassy ass must have just gotten his nails painted or something, because he was feeling the fuck out of himself on this particular day, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe he just came in from slapping his own ass on camera. I don't know, because he has footage of that. Maybe he just came in from freshly slapping his own cheeks up, because I don't know, he just had a little extra pep in his step on this day for whatever reason. Crazy work. Now, Tank decided to chime in on this particular post that Lamont Roach made, addressing the folly that he had accepted some type of or some level of step aside money. Now, this tweet had nothing to do with addressing Tank Davis per se, right? He's addressing the people about what they are assuming of him. Nothing to Tank Davis specifically, but Tank Davis decides to write the following, quote, "Exactly, because you a bitch. Now, go sit down and put your hand on your chin and figure out how that happened to your mans. Same way I put food in your mouth, I took it. Snatchies." End quote. Do you hear this, sassy shit? Do you hear this? I had to sit back, upon seeing that and just giggle. I'm like, what? Is this man for real? The goal, the absolute and sheer goal of this man to hop his little ass in the comment section to gasconade and gloat, okay, about putting food in Roach's mouth and taking it. Do you hear that? As if this sassy red light special Davis didn't himself get in line for a payday that Jake Paul is putting deep in his mouth for their fight in November. Did he forget? Did he forget that Jake Paul giveth him something warm and hot to put in his mouth to have made that fight come November? Ain't that crazy? The convenient amnesia is out of control. What's going on, you guys? I hate to be so vulgar and paint that particular type of picture, but sometimes you just gotta, make it as plainly as possible so that it can stick. What is this man talking about? You just received Jake Paul's grace that he giveth you a gift to fight against him on Netflix in an exhibition. What the hell you mean the food that I done put in your mouth and I took it? It's crazy work, you guys. Absolute crazy work. The level of gasconading that's going on. You know what I'm saying? He put that payday and something, probably whatever else, all the way in your mouth. What's going on? This is a payday that Tank was willing to gag and drip over. So much so that he was willing to haul ass away from the very fight that would have solidified and put a stamp on this year of his career for him, right? Everybody who watched that fight with Lamont Roach was interested in seeing the rematch to see if possibly maybe you were off that particular night, as all of his fanboys tried to simp and say, right? Oh, he just wasn't himself, right? Oh no, he's better than that. Oh, he's gonna beat him. He's gonna beat him. That was just a bad night for Tank, right? You didn't even have the wherewithal to prove your own sassy crusaders wrong. He didn't even want to, prove the sassy patrol of his wrong. He ran and hauled ass to join an exhibition fight that don't mean a goddamn to anything or anybody but his own goddamn bank account. Crazy work. Crazy work. You hauled ass to dodge that rematch. You also hauled ass, just like you have been doing for I don't know how goddamn long, away from Shakur Stevenson, who is also available to fight right now. You ran and jumped into the loving arms of Jake Paul. What's going on? This is yet another symptom that we are seeing becoming far too common nowadays, you guys. The running away from and ducking real smoke and competition. This is what else is symptomatic within boxing. Symptomatic of a much larger issue, an underlying issue of cowardice in this sport. All the while, speaking of cowardice, Corey's not off the hook because as of late, we see Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. I'm not sure if you guys have been keeping up with that on Twitter. We see these two motherfuckers, setting up basketball matches with each other over the past week. Have you guys seen that? These motherfuckers are tweeting back and forth about a basketball game that they're going to go and do with each other instead of a fucking fight. What the hell am I witnessing? Y'all are setting up to have a damn blind date to go hooping when you should be talking about when you're going to be throwing them hands? Make it make sense to me, you guys. This is the state of boxing. This is the state of boxing among these particular type of cowardly, people who are running amok in this sport right now. It's crazy. This is a germ that is going on that is quite hard to remove and dispel, unfortunately. It's catching on. It's hopping from one person to the next, to the next, to the goddamn next. I'm tired of it. This is the type of time these people are on. The symptoms of what may, absolutely be, something that's, I just have to accept as incurable at this point. An incurable level of cowardice and bitch assness is what this germ seems to be, entailing. This is why, like I said before, I am so vehemently in support of the real warriors within boxing. The ones who don't, have themselves or me as their supporter out in these streets looking crazy. This is why I go so hard for those men and women. This is why they have and earn my respect. The young black king, Devin Haney, is him. You understand me? People like David Benavidez. We got the young king, the young lion, Abdullah Mason. We got Antoine Russell up at 140. You know what I'm saying? Hell, we even got Norman Jr. out here looking to show something in November against Devin Haney. Got to give him his credit. You know what I mean? Bud right now has the entire culture on his back in support of his victory against Canelo in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? We got Charlo out here calling for real smoke on demon time. And I can't wait to see whether he decides to actually show up and prove himself. You know what I mean? That's what I'm expecting. Don't talk about it if you're not about it. And 1000% most certainly, as long as man down Earl Spence Jr. to truth his goddamn self hasn't given in his resignation, you already know I'm 10 toes with that king. These are the type of people I back. 1000% the GOAT, the goddess Clarissa Shields. These are the type of people that I back. It is that energy, that heart that I am repping 10 toes, as you know I love to say. Get the sassy, cowardly shit the fuck out of boxing. I'm tired of seeing it. I can't wait till it's rid of from this sport completely. This heartlessness, this charade, this clown show and circus act that has been running rampant up and down this sport. Way more than it needs to. That is not the centerpiece of boxing. What type of era are we in where that is now the centerpiece? The way in which people are being introduced into and held to and sustained by within boxing. That's crazy. Last time I checked, this shit was about heart and valor and sportsmanship and victory and legacy. That's the boxing that I know and respect. That's what I show up to support and what I want to see. And I'm sure my brothers and sisters in here absolutely agree with that. Let me check in with my peeps to see what y'all was saying. Salute to anybody in the building that I may have missed. Oh my goodness, the King Vonnie, salute to you. Nice to see you. We got sports prediction in the building. Salute to you. All right. We got the Curtis in the building. Peace. Peace. Thank you for joining. Okay. Jay, the man, is in the building. Salute to you. Big salute. What did you guys think about the Tank Davis situation on Twitter with him talking to Lamont Roach? Just like I put food in your mouth, I took it. What? You know, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Lamont Roach decides to do. I know that he had been flirting with the idea of a fight with Shakur Stevenson. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Shakur Stevenson is looking at Teofimo Lopez, but like I said, these motherfuckers been talking about making up, going on a date to go play basketball. Ain't no word on that fight ever materializing between he and Teofimo Lopez. What the fuck? What are these people doing, you guys? What's going on? Thank goodness we have those few real ones, in the game standing, ironclad with it, because we'd be absolutely at a deficit if it weren't for these few. Ain't that crazy? My twin says, yes, I saw that comment. Tank lost his damn mind. Wasn't that crazy? Wasn't that crazy, twin? That was insane. Yeah, what? You out here boasting about hauling ass away from the man that put hands and feet on you? Oh my goodness. Make it make sense, you guys. And you got people like, yeah, yeah, Tank made him and break him. He made him and he said that he could break him. Absolutely dodging the fact that this man is ducking running for absolute cover away from this man, away from the smoke with this man, so that he can go fight a goddamn promoter, businessman / content creator. What? Oh my goodness. Crazy work. Yeah. Yes, twin. The man said snatchies. That's what he said in the goddamn tweet. Snatchies. Oh my God, twin. I couldn't make it up if I tried. Yeah. Yes, twin. 1000%. Just as sassy as you can get. Snatch Davis. Absolutely. Red light snatch Davis. 1000%. Purple pain snatch Davis, y'all. What is this? Oh my goodness. Salute to the king. Uncommon in the building. He says, I'm out of town with family, but I just wanted to stop by for a second to salute. Thank you, King. Thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for sure. Thank you. Yes. He has absolutely assumed the face of avoidance, the face of ducking. You know what I'm saying? Him, Teofimo Lopez, you know what I'm saying, are neck and neck, y'all. Diabolical work and absolutely pathetic, King J. 100%. This was my face the whole time, Ra. This is how I was looking the whole week. Like, the fuck am I witnessing in boxing? What is this era of boxing doing? What are these people in boxing doing? This is the face I had on all week, King. Crazy, crazy work indeed. Yes, King Vonnie. As sassy as it gets. As sassy as it gets. Oh my goodness, we have Caldwell in the building. He says SugarFreeMars. I don't know who's a bigger bitch, Naji or Abdul. I guess we got to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They're looking about, you know what I'm saying? Looking about evenly matched over here, King Caldwell. Ain't it crazy? Crazy work, you guys. Interesting times indeed that we are in this era and this climate of boxing. You know, I have these few things in store that are, you know, on the horizon, like I said, that are coming up. Look to see and in much support of Bud going in there and doing his thing. I'd like to see him come out victorious. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens, of course, in 2 weeks. But like I said, my eyes are 1000% peeled on the young King Devin Haney going in there and doing the biggest one against Brian Norman Jr. And I'm actually excited for both of these warriors. You know what I'm saying? A lot is at stake. A lot is, you know, on the line for these two beautiful young brothers. And I'm in support of the legacy and prosperity of the sport. And these two men, you know, quite fully and wholly hold the future of boxing in their hands. These two young, beautiful warriors. You know what I'm saying? It's this type of sportsmanship and warriorship that I salute. So yeah, this is my fight of the year. That Devin Haney Brian Norman fight gives a good overall outlook to boxing. You know, and anybody standing in that vein, you know, of that level of competitorship and warriorship will garner my respect. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they are doing it uprightly, and you know, in that representation of Black excellence that we love and respect. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, you guys. I mean, as things unfold in boxing, you know, we are never spared a moment, you guys. Never spared a moment. But I think that's all I had to discuss with you guys. The most notable and pressing issues that I wanted to bring for us to you know, discuss as a family today. I definitely appreciate everybody who joined in, everybody who came in the building. Of course, my hitters, my gunners, my twin, Daryl, my beautiful sister Cameron, the king, Stephen X in the building, all the beautiful people, the King Bonnie, Jay the Man, my beautiful king, BFTB, who popped in earlier, all the brothers and sisters, the queen mother, my beautiful Mama Love Tequila Fields. I respect and appreciate you guys so much for joining. It's always wonderful to sit around the table and discuss some good old boxing talk with you guys. Unless you guys had anything else, and everybody else in the building, of course, I cannot name. You know, I wanted to show love to everybody. Oh, Caldwell said something. Let me see what you said, King. He says, what will all the Tank fans say now? At first, it was Tank is looking for his. Oh, right. First, it was Tank is looking out for his friend in the Roach fight. Now, what will they say? He won't even rematch. Exactly. What happened to the fucking friendship that everybody was goddamn toting up and saluting and dripping over? Oh, they friends. He was going to give his friends a shot. All of that to justify that fight that nobody had asked for was happening. Now, all of a sudden, there ain't no friendship, banner to wave anymore. What happened to the flag? The friendship flag that everybody was goddamn waving. That's how you know these people are so fickle and, just from one thing to the next. Absolutely transient. They have no dedication or loyalty to anything. It's crazy, crazy work. They are not tied to anything, based in reality. They go where the trend is. They go where their convenience is. Whatever is going to assuage their delusion. That is where they go. Absolute crazy work, you guys. But yeah, that's it for me, beautiful people. Thank you again so much for joining. Salute to all the brothers and sisters who stood 10 toes with me in today's discussion. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. Okay. Definitely also consider becoming a member of this channel if you like what we do here. I appreciate you. And yeah, I'm sending infinite blessings, infinite love to the good people. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you guys soon. Big, big love, you guys. Peace.